driving right now. Sonic Wave is there. It's getting low and low. Oh! They've stolen it. Malif have got the Baron.
If you hadn't had enough action in game number 1, big upset pulled off by Gravitas, we got a second game for you, and then a third, and then maybe a fourth if you're being good in Twitch chat. Don't act up or you're going to get banned, and you'll still be able to watch, but you won't be able to type things like Papega and Tog and other P words. Anyway, we got a game to talk about quickly. It is Order and Pentanet looking to go head-to-head. Both these teams want that dub because they're all tied up at the moment, and we're going to talk Order first. So no changes in the lineup today, but everyone playing relatively well over the previous couple of weeks, Skimmy.
Yeah, 2-2 coming into this week. They had a bit of a weird week too, though, I might say. They got up against Kanga, absolutely stomped them, but then the next game they face Peace and get stomped. So it's this discussion we're starting to formulate at the top of the table, just how big the divide is between these front runners, and you're quite curious to sort of see where the limit, the ceiling is for a lot of these players, because I feel like Puma has been playing really well so far. He's been having a lot of moments where the resources are invested in, and he can pop off quite fiddly as a result. But you know, it's not to say that the likes of Kevy and Kissei aren't being as explosive as we wanted. You could definitely ask to see more. Like, for instance, I look at Kissei and say, what, rookie to split and split one? And, you know, he made a bit of a name for himself in some of those very exciting champions, like, for instance, you know, Yone, the LeBlanc, and the Kali. So, you know, are we going to see more of those crazy champions where they can look to assert themselves as the best mid-2v2?
We really need to see what Order are capable of, and today is a very good test for that. Now, they're great on the Rift. They are beautiful with those champions, and they're also pretty damn good with the content too. So we've got something here from Order to have a look at.
Dude, I'm sad. LGL used to have like a makeup artist and stuff, but like now, I just have like a zero makeup on.
And you look naturally beautiful. How about that?
Oh, my Panther, that is so sweet of you. Thank you.
That is actually so sweet.
I'm just gonna go Drake.
Wait, look at that, guys.
Just Drake and Baron. Drake and Baron.
Try and get their spells.
Yep.
Is it even a Baron?
That's
We don't
flash.
need to.
Nice.
Holy
Good job.
fuck, I'm actually on kill.
Wait, Baron? What would they do if we just like didn't show up to the game? Would we just FF?
Yeah, no shit.
Oh my god, dude, I want to sleep so bad actually. Oh my god, Kerry's on the front page of Twitch. Bosses better be saying some good stuff about me. Oh, it's gonna be so hot. My fan can't reach me when I'm doing this.
Take off your shirt.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the viewers would go up a little bit.
I think they go down, but that's just my opinion.
There'll be an Australian flood if I took my shirt off and we went on stream. What if I got hit by a boss and it made me click quit?
They want.
We should get by a boss.
Wait, Evan, are you actually a coach?
Nope. I just pretend.
Consider quitting.
I just pretend.
He's just happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Okay, bye. You have to tell me the final time to lock in, because I'm not gonna lock in when Evan tells me.
Yeah, sure. What's the magic words?
Pick me,
Please.
set.
Okay, big reset, I guess.
Alright guys, remake
Please
wrong
pick.
runes. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
remake wrong ones. He actually queued you. It ain't
Yeah.
scripts.
That's fucked, dude. It's such a fucked up world.
We gotta kill bot.
Let's go bot river.
I gotta get this wave, can you wait?
Yeah. I'm just gonna go Drake.
Wait, look
Good
at
luck.
that, guys.
Just Drake and
Alright,
Baron. Drake and Baron.
try and get their spells.
Yep.
Is it even a Baron?
That's
We don't
flash.
need to.
Nice.
Holy
Good job.
fuck, I'm actually on kill.
Wait, Baron? Yeah, sorry, Brandon.
No, it's fine. Just
Good call.
relax a little bit, guys. It's literally they're literally trolling. I don't know. I'm holding.
Yeah.
Finish it.
Yeah, finish.
Good luck.
Can we help?
I can't do anything there.
Can't
No,
You guys. I'm just basing.
He's dead. Good, guys.
If anyone shows on ways, I think you just peg it. You see like Vega top.
What the hell's Paget?
Extended.
Yeah, just send it. Like literally, like force it.
I mean, send it.
What's fighting?
I
I'm
might-
on.
Yeah.
Okay,
Multi come.
let's flash on Vega. Try and get out.
I've been CC for days.
I'm looking still.
Wait, look on Jinx.
Mhm.
Wait, look on Orm.
Bomb.
Alright, let's end.
Jesus, that was a bit of a.
Well, I learned a few things in that, and it's
Yes.
that we have no F-bomb limit for the rest of the split. So, yes! Let's go! I was going to drop an F-bomb, but I feel like we might have used up the quota. and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not feeling pretty dangerous, but
Yeah.
not just yet. Either way, we've got to talk about team number 2 here in game number 2, and that's Pentanet, who also are generally pretty good with the content, but they've been looking pretty hot on the riff, Rusty.
Yeah, they've definitely been a little bit hit and miss, but when they hit, they are terrifying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the roster hasn't changed. Belkan is definitely still an absolute demon in the jungle. He's a man possessed in their last victory as well, almost doing it by himself. And you could see it was, of course, Direwolves who was starting to pressure them. And ultimately, I don't think Direwolves ever had a chance in this game because Belkan was just doing everything that he could possibly do. Some of it very illegal maneuvers, but was constantly winning. And that was the state of angry gaming. Mac, if there's one thing we can say about competitive games when PGG are involved, if they lose the day before, they are angry the day after.
Oh yeah, and Praetor, he proves his point. He makes himself look like an absolute machine. He hits Hulk mode, he goes crazy, he hits Super Saiyan, whatever you want to call it. Like, he has one bad game, he instantly bounces back the next game. And that's what he was saying in those interviews as well. You know, when they do, if they make it to the best of 5 stage in the playoffs, then that's when things get spicy. They might have one terrible game, but you better believe that that good game's coming up right after. And that's where Pentanet thrive. But they got to get through all these best of ones first, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, at all times, Mac, Pentanet are a top 8 team. That was the biggest takeaway I got from Praetor's interview. One day he was a top 1 player, next day he was still a top 8 player. So that's the silver lining that Pentanet.gg have to work with. And yes, it would be nice to see them get a bit more consistent with those performances. They shouldn't have to lose to win after.
Very true. Now let's have a quick look at the head-to-head into the top lane for this matchup. Now, Skimmy, tell me, what do these numbers mean and who's going to win today?
It's an interesting one because you look at some of these players and say they've got a ton of assists, a very low kill share, and you know, very safe. Both of them, I think, only have like 5 or 6 deaths so far, so very content playing the weak side if need to, but certainly can, you know, feel unlocked and unleashed to try and be the star of the show when called upon. But what really springs to mind for me is the fact that, you know, Winter has got this very unique champion. Well, actually, quite honestly, both of them had this very unique champion pool. I feel like if there's ever a discussion to see the Enchanters play topside, these two would be at the tip of my tongue. We've seen it time and time again, likes of Biped and Winter playing the Karma, playing the Lulu when required as well, even playing the Janna. So for Biped, for that dates all the way back to OPL 2020. Obviously, a very different style of Janna back then, but it begs the question, and I'm curious to see what you think as well, Rusty, as to like, is the strat, should this be played by the better teams? You know, is it almost like a gentleman's agreement that you play the more refined, the elegant style of League of Legends, or is it a free-for-all? Because I'm quite curious to see where a line in the sand is drawn.
Hey, before you answer that, you can answer that when the game's live. For now, we're going to bring Kitty back in, because the players are waiting on the sidelines. They want to jump into the rift, but to do that, they got to chat to Kitty first. Kitty, who do you have for us?
Hey guys, I've grabbed Kisei and Winter for the interview, and they're waiting on the side. Let's get into it. Hello, Kisei. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty excited, you know. That's pretty much it.
I mean, we're also pretty excited knowing that you are pretty convincing for the boys when it's too hot, you know. Take off the shirt if you want. But speaking of today's game, so you guys had 2 one-sided matchups last week. One doing the stomping against Kinga, but one getting stomped by Peace. How did you guys handle the loss, and was there a change in mentality after versing the new Peace?
There wasn't really any change. Like, it just happens, we lose, you know, you can't win them all. And I'm pretty sure my 7 deaths, so I got trolled by my teammates. That's it.
That's okay, you know? Gotta stop the trolling from now on, because you guys gotta make playoffs. But speaking of content, Winter, I am a big fan of the PGG content, especially Pentacom videos. From those videos, it seems that Belkan is the main shot caller for the team fights. Does the language barrier affect the team's performance overall?
Little bit, if I be honest, but usually I try to translate everything like in 0.1 second, so it doesn't really matter for us.
Full-time pro player, part-time translator, that's how you work. But bringing it back to Kisei, talking about drafts, you guys previously had Puma constantly on hyper carries with Biopanther on a tanky frontline, leaving you and Kevy on a strong mid lane 2v2. Does that put a lot of pressure on you, since you and Kevy basically dictate how the early game will play out?
Nah, I don't get put on pressure. I've never felt pressure in my life.
That's good to know, you know. League of Legends is always the best when you're not under pressure in this. No? But
Yeah,
talking
facts.
about pressure, so facts. So talking about pressure, Winterer, we saw the potential that PGG had from that match against Dials last week. How does the dynamic of the team work around the 3 Koreans?
Usually Balkan says, let's go, and we follow. That's pretty much it. There's literally nothing else.
Well, this was a great interview, guys. Thank you for the interview, and good luck in your match. I'm excited to see what you guys have in store for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Both of them spitting straight facts, apparently. Now, what I'll take it from that is Kisei is blaming his teammates for his poor performances. And that's not a good team mentality to have. So hopefully they can straighten that one out. He was doing a little bit of that last year too. So it looks like not too much has changed. And maybe as he grows, as he plays a little bit more, gets that experience, he'll start to maybe play safer. I don't know. What's like the answer if you do seem to get a lot of those deaths, Rusty, and keep blaming your teammates, even in the competitive experience like the LCO?
I mean, you just have the turnaround games, Mac, like Praedyth does, right? You might have a 0-7, you might get called out in mid constantly every game, but you just drop 15 kills in response. What are they going to do to stop you, right? And that's kind of the way that Puma does tend to play League of Legends as well, so they are fairly similar, honestly.
Okay. Well, let's see if that happens with Puma. Let's see if that happens with Kisei. And let's see what we think is going to happen here. Predictions, bring them up. Let's have a look. I've gone with Order. Rusty and Kitty are with me. Skimmy, you're the odd one out, so back yourself.
Yeah, so for me, I love aggressive League of Legends. I hate macro personally. I just want to fight. That's the background that I have in the games that I've played before. But looking at this roster, I look at Balkan, I look at Praedyth. They're tied for the most kills in the entire league so far at 25. They go, and when they do go, it looks pretty insane, right? You get the first quadra kill off the LCO. You got a jungler competing with you on Java to try and out-damage and out-kill an Aphelios. So these guys are psychos, but in a good way. So if you've got those on your team, you're always going to be sleeping easy at night.
Yeah, and we did see Vulcan not only angry game, but then steal a whole lot of farm from his ADC. So I wonder if that's going to be a continuous trend moving into the new week, or if, you know, slowly but surely Winterer as the translator in the top lane is going to be able to, you know, iron out all the creases, make this look nice. Now, Zeri, we saw it in the first game. I'm wondering, Rusty, do you think we're going to see any in game number 2?
I mean, from what I got in that first game, Zeri Yumi is a very broken duo. You know, it wasn't something that I'd put too much time looking into, but early vibes, it's impossible to gank, and it just seems to run away with the game with its scaling. So it could be a nightmare, but there's no reason not to go Aphelios and actually just match 2v2. Just don't play towards them.
Well, my answer can be answered because Champ Select is ready for game number 2. PGG in order. Who's gonna move up the leaderboard?
That's a good question, Mac. Both these teams find themselves tied in third at the moment. It almost feels like the wake-up call for what is going to be a very exciting kickoff here for week 3. You mentioned already that it's going to be looking to try and separate out the teams and really figure out where these standings truly should be found. But you come into this one, you're going to think, okay, what is the read on the meta? And just like that, the Zeri will be removed.
Yeah, so we're going to get the Zeri banned. That makes sense. Corki removed as well. The Twisted Fate and the Akali are going to be taken away here also, which is a curious one to me. We're not sure the depth of Yuri's ability-powered champion pool, right? We don't know it yet. We're waiting to see him reveal more of that. But seeing a Twisted Fate ban, I think, is a pretty telling sign.
Yeah.
The Akali ban could also just be away from Winterer, not so much just from mid lane. So be very interested to see where they choose to go with their third pick here. If we're just going to get the 4-5 red side, top side, rather solo lane picks here from PGG, which is your expected. But Order first picking the Renekton has to be flexible. We know it is, and that is the reason that it is a decent first pick here, Skimmy. Because if that was just top lane, it's so easy to play around. But now it is a little bit more flexible, and it opens the gates to something like the Diana with a flexible solo laner. Probably pick a bottom laner here, unless the comp is something that you absolutely want at all costs.
Has been played in mid lane by Kisei so far. Yet to be done by Bio, but certainly if they find the opposition or the moment for it to strike, then they certainly will. As for Winterer, he's played 1 game of Renekton, but 3 on the Gragas. We're not going to lock that in nice and early to guarantee a matchup better suited elsewhere. Not going to be the case just yet. Going to go for the Zen instead. certainly a champion that would suit the resume of Balkan, wanting to jump in and get rowdy about it.
Yeah, the Xin makes sense. The Jarvan also does. It really doesn't matter necessarily what you're going to pick here as a response to the Diana. She's going to do damage to you. Is he just on
He's
his
checking
phone?
himself
He's
out
on
as the draft's
Snapchat.
happening. Look, what did we learn from Juves later last year? He scattered him out. He's got a TikTok. This is a side gig for him. He's a big star.
He's straight up just asking, how's my hair, guys? Do you want a mid-champion or not? I don't care, man. Does my hair look good?
It's important. It's really important. And he did actually hover the Yasuo. That's now been banned. What I was asking for before, right, were some of these really aggressive champions that we fell in love with him for, playing late last year, right? The Akali's been removed as well. So you're really thinking if there was to be some spice found in that mid lane apart from the Renekton, surely give us that LeBlanc, give us that Yone, just give us that 1v9 and say, you want to be aggressive, well, I can be too.
Yeah, Yone is probably the other reliable choice of AD mid laners here, but the Renekton still being flexible makes it difficult, right? And Yasuo is a combo. So they'll get rid of the combo with their 4-ban. Their 5-ban actually goes towards the Leona, which makes and justifies just a little bit more the choice of the Lulu lock-in, right? Because Nautilus, Leona, two very good options. Leona, one of the better pairings, however, with the Senna for like the standard farming setter bottom lane. There is still the possibility of it being a starving Senna with a tank farming down there in the support role as well, so just keep that in mind. But Nautilus or something of the likes is your standard choice here if you want to beat the Lulu bottom. Or you just pick an enchanter like a Karma and you just scale alongside it.
Tell you what, Winter will have to pick something new and unique here today. He's actually settled with the Rumble. Gives them the AP damage that they need.
Okay. Rumble is a decent option in general. It is still perceived as a blind pick though, so that makes me think that it's flexible, Skimmy.
Sure.
Which is curious, because you could have a Rumble mid lane. That definitely is something that could exist, and maybe in PGG's draft handbook, they have just said, we go for the Rumble and match the Renekton lane. Let's see them reveal where everything's going first.
We'll wait until that fifth and final pick. As it stands, Corp, we're going to get another game in here as the Rakan. That's been locked in. And now a chance to find out where this Renekton really will be going.
You know, the Jarvan definitely is something that's going to have a pretty rough time into Order's composition as well, I will say. There is now 4 different aspects of mobility there. So if Puma playing this Senna has the flash, then Jarvan can't really just find an ult combo. So which means the Jarvan, Aphelios, Rumble, all kind of layering everything together isn't going to be perfect from the get-go. Waiting to see where PGG choose to go with their last pick. I don't think this is the Janna game, right? Like, there is still so much work that an Aatrox can do, particularly with pushing and helping the map, but Janna's always just one of those picks that's viable. Usually you'll see it more into the tank top skimming, I think.
Sure.
So those blind Orns that we saw from the first game, that opens the possibilities of the Janna up there.
So what I have actually written down here is it's been a hot minute, but Yuri has played mid-Rumble before. Back in the Career Challenger circuit, all the way back in 2020. Played it into a set, played it into a Kiana. But Winter has played Rise as well, so really need to wait until this one gets confirmed and guaranteed as to really where this gets flexed.
Yeah, we'll wait to see the final positions. It does seem like this is going to be where they are now. Yuri going to be playing the Rise. Kisei obviously is going to be revealed on the Renekton here as well. Aatrox top lane, I am very unfamiliar with Aatrox versus Rumble as a matchup. It has been so long since we've seen both of these champions go toe-to-toe. Jungle is just about farming the 6 for Kevi, while Balkan is pretty happy to do whatever he wants, right? Solo queue mindset, if that's the way he's going to go. Or if he goes for the competitive grind set and actually does look towards the level 6 clears, we will see. Mid lane is about priority for Renekton, so that kind of helps Kevi get through the early farming, but I'm not sure if they have the outright winning 2v2. So usually Renekton Diana you would look at and say it's free setup, free Diana combo. But Jarvan can put in some pretty serious work, and Rise is a slippery man. So they might be able to survive that 2v2 and just walk away and handshake farm it out. Bot lane is the place for me that I'm most looking forward to though, Skimmy. I think the risk of a Rakan pick into a Aphelios Lulu is quite high. You can get poked out very easily if you're not careful, and Rakan behind just gets one hit from that point onwards. So Corporal got a lot of onus on himself here by this draft.
It does, given the stats would lend to Puma being a little bit more solid in the laning phase of farming up and keeping ahead, whereas Praetor is far more volatile, and if anything is to be taken from this being his most proficient champion, then he can farm up those kills and certainly give you a run for your money. Here we go, it's week number 3 of the LCO. We're jumping into game number 2, and a chance for these two teams to try and put daylight between them. The big discussion, where will these teams eventually find themselves? We've all got them in our power rankings somewhere in the vicinity of a top 4, but a chance to create that divide begins now. And as we load in, once again, get another chance for some insight into the teams and their inner workings. We do have Ceres from Order on the line.
Hey, Scary. How's it going?
Very well, mate. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I'm pretty happy with how things have played out for us today. So hopefully we get a win.
That's good to hear. Yeah, well, absolutely. I have to ask the obvious question, which, you know, last time we spoke, it was all about, you know, consistency and discipline, and I suppose week 2 was very volatile in that fact. So, you know, coming into this game, was there a different message?
Well, look, mate, who's to say that caster curse isn't limited to the casters? Yeah, honestly, it's just one of those games. Realistically, there were some critical moments in which we played mechanically poorly. Our draft wasn't as tight as it should have been. You know, there was a lot of flaws in that ship. And credit to Peace where it's due, they sunk us very effectively. You know, TN in particular had really strong roams and good timings. We didn't respect them, and we got punished.
Yeah.
So it kind of is what it is. You take it as a learning experience as best you can, and yeah, we move on.
Yeah, for sure. I had to quickly add also on the draft, we've seen already today a lot of unique new champions being played. And are you happy with what you got? There seem to be a few curveballs with these mid-top champions being flexed at the very last minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I think stylistically, our comp just functions way more effectively into theirs. They're aiming essentially to dive, right? That's what their goal is. Obviously, they have the Aphelios Lulu as well, so it's kind of in conflict. But we don't really have anything to dive. Pretty much our entire comp goes forward with the Senna supporting it from the back. So it's really just on how well can they protect their Aphelios versus how well can we, you know, can we kill them?
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, we'll crack on with the game. I appreciate your thoughts as always. Hope you boys have a cracking week.
Cheers, mate.
He's pretty spot on there, Skimmy, just as the way that these compositions will interact, right? It's definitely just a bunch of meatballs running at each other, and if the Aphelios dies, then Order come out on top. But a couple of small caveats to that is that Ryze has really high damage over time for protracted team fights, and so does a Rumble. So it's not always going to be as simple as just take down the Aphelios and win the game. But the two mentioned champions are fairly mid-range. So a Diana can get on top of them, an Aatrox can get on top of them, and a Senna should be able to outrange them. Just some small considerations, of course, for how this executes beyond the scope of just kill Aphelios and you'll be fine, lol.
Yeah.
Order with plenty of means to dive, though. Question is, can they make that happen into a comp that can handle you very well? It does feel like Order goes forwards and PGG kite backwards. A couple of punches of their own here possible, however. Belkan one of those.
I'm quite curious to sort of see how this jungle matchup stylistically works out as well, because I feel like for the side of Kevy, their last game, he did play the Diana, missed a few of those crucial moonfalls to find those kills that could have certainly snowballed the game in a different fashion. So I'm sure one of great personal importance for him to prove himself once again. It's one of his most popular, most played champions, whereas for Belkan, just running it back on the J4 again, it feels like you could take individual components from this game and say very similar to that Direwolves matchup and how it's going to function and sort of what it's looking to try and achieve.
Yeah, so we didn't really talk about it too much, I suppose, in that respect. The mechanics aspect of what you said prior, Skimmy, was a very big deal for me. Because that's what a lot of the big L that Order took boiled down to, right? It was like genuinely, Kevy came in, just pressed Alt before pressing E, missed everything and failed, and the game was out of their hands. So you're right, this is going to be a really crucial game for them in terms of how they bounce back in that respect. But if there's one thing that we can say about Order and the players that are in this team is they will bounce back perfectly fine. You would expect from those small mishaps. They're an experienced team and it's early into a split. So I wouldn't have too many worries or concerns for them, and 3 of us actually predicted Order. I mean, that was a surprise to me.
Sure.
So I thought I was going to be an anomaly going for Order with my prediction, actually. I got in there early and was like, I reckon. Because the way that PGG played their victory when they were playing was so solo queue style that Order would find a lot of angles in that. And the composition definitely is designed to find a lot of engages, some flank angles and some possibilities for fights, but we won't see anything too early just yet from their side of the camp. It is about farming.
I did find it interesting though from Winter's interview with Kitty about how he's just on the fly live translating his team. Balkan literally saying we're going in, and I'm sure with time, English aside, you're probably going to gain the cues of we're going in regardless. But perhaps that is the style that they need at the stage, right? Just raw aggression. That was the hype, the big selling point, especially for Balkan and what he did when he first came to OS. And he seems like one of those kind of characters that, if the ball gets rolling, absolutely terrified of what they can achieve. It's worth noting also that Yuri's stats so far, whilst we were a little bit critical of his AP play, right now he actually leads the league for the most damage per minute. Now, one might argue those stats might be a little bit, fudged because he's had 2 games of the Corki. 3 Furies up there in second place, same case.
Corkies,
so
yeah.
perhaps, but there's certainly an argument to say that you got to find yourself in those positions to land those.
Sure, which is on the same screen as your opponent. So,
we're clutching at straws, if you can't tell.
It certainly is just a stat without a narrative, which is the worst, but also the best type of stats, depending on what you're delivering. And it's a flattering statistic, so I'll give you that one.
It feels nice, doesn't it?
It's not a whole lot beyond that one. Something we didn't highlight here as well, Skimmy, is it was a leashless start for Kevy on this Diana. Whereas there was a leash on red side for Balkan. You'd expect the Jarvan to keep up with Diana's clear as a result of that. But it means that Aatrox gets to start in lane.
Oh,
nice trade bottom.
Really good trade. Probably an all-in. A flash away and Ignite. Not going to connect for that final auto. Very close towards it. Oh, nearly hits it with a Q as well.
Yeah, that Q connecting was on. There was also flashes there for Puma. He had the movement speed with the fleet potentially available as well. Not a lot of sustain from a Lulu and an Aphelios, so definitely in the world of hurt, you would say, where Rakan and Senna both have heals built into their kits. Big trade mid those, definitely going to force Kisei to base after this one with no teleport, Skimmy. So Yuri putting in some work right now in this 1v1. The other place that we were yet to talk about that I was mid-sentence on before that fight happened, Bottom, is that I think Aatrox is one of those champions that people think Aatrox is strong early, but in reality, and I would say in this matchup, he needs Merc trades and level 6. From that point, you would say he is actually still a strong top laner, but his opponent here in Winter has Ignite. So that kind of ruins that. And I'm not sure where his exact breakpoint will be as a result of that Ignite existing. It is probably the full Mythic for dueling.
And I wonder if that gives us an insight into how these two teams want to try and approach things. Whether or not PGG want to once again play the solo queue style of going for these early kills, early invades like we might see here. There is the lock in place with the Rune Prism, a flag and a dragon, a Dawning Shadow from bot lane. Is that enough mitigation? Balkan's in trouble! He turns around with a Cataclysm, gets the kill. I tell a lie. There is the Wild Growth Bite, just enough time. But Kevy comes across and claims the double buff and gets his first kill.
Was the Rumble ult?
Oh, Equalizer, Comet.
Close.
Very close, very close.
Just not enough damage. They'll be able to scrape away with their lives intact here. Order still losing their mid laner, however, in that trade. And really, both frontliners go down. That's the way that this plays out. Corporal is here very early. Diana walking over Vision. But because the fight was basically committed towards, they're able to make it happen. Balkan cops the Lulu ultimate and the Triumph to get some health back. But that was one of those kills that I don't think anyone expected to go the way of PGG. It just kind of happened. You know, the base damages of Jarvan perhaps taking them by surprise, but the active rise is brought friends.
4-member shot, top side, an instant flash and a cancel of vision. So the Whimsy was good, but what does mean is he has no TP and that's a big wave crashing. Now bot side, Kevy's looking for blood again. Locked in place with the Gravitum! Nearly ran away. And that personal vengeance is coming out big time.
Yeah, close to surviving for Praedyth, but was definitely well out of position there and just gets taken down. If there's one thing you're looking at for Order in a playbook, it is wait for that moment that Praetor overextends. It seems to be a consistent thing. And so they're able to get that kill. On top side, it was the Summoner. Belkan being pressured here, obviously no smite.
Kisei, good flash away. PGG will no longer have vision, but that won't scare them, will not deter them from
Kevy's
this
here.
Herald. They've got it. So Balkan is on the run. Bio looking to lock them in place. A fantastic Rune Prism interrupts the combo, and they're out.
Yuri, no flash available now. Kisei with no flash now of his own as he has to get away from the fight. Everything will just kind of dissipate with the objectives in hand for PGG. That is the first Drake and first Herald of the game going their way. Reasonable timing as well here, I will say. They'll get a second Herald attempt off. The real benefactor, as you're seeing right now in the total gold, I'm glad that got brought up there, is Diana. Kevy is monumentally large in this one. We'll have that Mythic in short order, and that means that Rogue and Praetor, very high risk. Constantly playing around the map, they need to be careful. Sweeper just times out there, so timing goes against Order if they were looking for a pick, but key feature of why you would pick Diana Skimmy is you want to assassinate the Aphelios, as stated by the coach of Order. Well, now a 2-0, Kevy almost at that Mythic is going to be putting in some serious work towards that happening.
So they'll find the second Drake of the game, the first for them. BGG's response and their answer is to claim the first turret. It's going to be a perfect execution with this Herald being summoned. And this is sort of going back to my question from before, you know, how are they going to look to try and play this? Winter has the combat summoners, he wants the investment, he wants the snowball, but Order, as well as Bio, they will have double TP to play around later on.
Yeah, extra teleport is going to be very important, but Rumble's also one of those champs that does kind of want to be grouping with the team. You'll take your opportunistic waves. They're also going to do something there very similar. They'll get that second charge off. Yuri hovering, however, so a fight, depending on how Belkan's feeling. We've heard from the PGG comms, if he says, let's go, there was going to be a Rise ultimate. Puma.
Let's go in the bot lane. He sidestepped the Moonlight Vigil. Puma, fancy feet.
Gets health back from the turret. Okay, Puma. Not everyone jukes up Skimmy. I think that's an important distinction to make, but Puma does it twice back to back. Very difficult to kill a Senna with the Shroud available. No matter how fast you are, you have to be inside that Shroud. Senna, Xin Zhao with the ultimate, Gwen with a W, just a big pain. The difference is, of course, you can hit Senna with abilities. You just can't see her.
Rushed the Kraken Slayer. A lot of damage, a lot of true damage with a lot of range. Obviously, to come on through later on to try and add to the question and add to the follow-up of this Diana diving on through. Triple dive, really. Quadruple if you count the support as well. Really all looking at one single mine, one target. Lock them in place.
Looking up. The play is definitely on here. Kevy's nearby though, so just keep that in mind. And Kisei with teleport to the inner turret if necessary.
Here we go. World Ender is popped nice and early. Stuck inside a Cataclysm with a barbecue on your head. That's the first kill here for Winthrop. Another big punish towards Bio.
Yeah, Bio doesn't play towards Kevy even in the slightest. I don't know if that's Bio saying, I'm just dead, right? Like, just let it happen. Didn't have any of his items purchased, was maybe being a little bit cheeky, catching one too many waves there and gets nicely punished. But at the same time, had Kevy on his side of the map, so thought perhaps he was safer than he actually was. Still great moves from PGG. That proactivity that we wanted to see from Pentanet.gg, we're starting to see more and more of it. And Yuri, I think the fact that he's on Rise is crucial for that.
I'm glad we're slowly returning back to you know, a state of affairs where these champions that allow you just to traverse the map and punish quite convincingly are being seen again. Yes, we've been begging for more of the Victor and so on, but the elegance and being rewarded for not only playing the map, but respecting the timings and getting the ultimate reward for this one. Order will find themselves once again putting a lot of pressure and time towards the bottom side of the map. You can see them wrestling over control, but Balkan is here. Football can just disengage away. So much mobility as a Rakan, but they're not giving up the river for free.
Yeah, Corporal super behind in experience though here is something that I think we should highlight. Rakan, one of those champs that is really reliant on hitting a solid engage and just being mobile. But level 6, the lowest in the game by a sizable amount, 5 levels below Yuri. That does mean that if you make a single misstep, you literally get 1 hit, and it is not close. So it has to be perfect. Does have a stopwatch here, Skimmy, so that is an important and redeeming teamfight feature for the Rakan. Means that you can go for the crazy all-in engage and set your Diana up for a combo. But you'd expect that from this point, if the Rakan fails, even in the slightest, it just dies and needs that experience desperately. Also, they were fighting for vision with like a minute 40 till the Drake started. So really that was about getting like a cheeky deep ward in. Didn't get it, was staunched out completely. So both teams now resetting with a small amount of vision in hand, now ready to actually set up, poised for a Drake play. But you cannot sleep on the fact that Herald is up at the same time.
As you say, back to base, recharge the wards and deploy back onto the map to do it all over again. So far, everybody is here. Balkan catches out Kevi. He's down a level, but realizes that his team weren't in a position to really punish. So the Herald is a distant afterthought right now. Great WinCon seems to be the aim of the game.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised that both teams are more focused towards the single objective. Praedyth needs to be careful here that Q actually hit. Moonfall from a Diana is deadly. Teleport's coming in. They 100% want this.
That's a really nice flank. It's going to expire, but in comes Kisse looking for his warning shot. He's flashing on cross train towards Praedyth. Praedyth's in so much trouble. He's got the green and the white. He's got so much range. A flash and a dash, and he's dead already. It does not matter. Order so far are finding the kills that they so desperately need. And it all started with that Renekton on the flank. They're going to find kills, but now it's being turned around. The sustain and the pain and pressure that PGG provide. They got the Drake, they get the kills, and they've got a numbers advantage.
Yeah, Praedyth and Winterer may die, but at the same time, Yuri was free hitting for the entirety of that fight. It was an absurdly free fight for a Rise. Puma will have to show some respect here, but we'll be able to weather that out. You see the damage from that last team fight as well.
So balanced.
I mean, my eyes go to Kevi here because he gets stuck by the flag drag and stuck straight into a Glacial Shroud and then commits to the Drake. So the issue here with Order's team fight is they get a couple of kills and they have a nice teleport flank from Biopanther, I think it was, but ultimately, rather Kisse it was, but ultimately they weren't going for the Fighters 5, right? So the fact that it goes so close to being a winning fight, I think to me it's telling that your Diana, who has a lot of your kills, was playing for the smite.
Certainly allows these two Korean imports to find themselves in a very comfortable spot. Now Yuri's got the most gold in the game. That's a terrifying stat to consider. A Rise this strong this early on. Level 12. Certainly feeling himself. That might be the smallest portal I've ever seen from one side of the entry into the Drake. But hey, it was warning tactics.
Creating space.
A mini flash, really. A channeled flash. A hex flash.
Teleport's coming in from Yuri top as well. Balkan could chase here.
Yeah, Kevi got the Herald, so now they want to try and pick up some kills. Kisse is on the run. He has no summoners, and he's got no backup. In comes Corporal, but it's a split fight. One in the river and one in top lane. Praedyth, meanwhile, he wants to pick up a blue buff. Forget the team fight. I'm playing a completely different game. It's solo player, and Balkan is still saying, where is my team? He's got the Gorge Rigging. He's now got the backup. The reinforcements are here, and the snipe at the end of the day with the Moonlight Vigil.
Yeah, Pensonet.gg just looking a little bit too clean right now. They find their opportunities. Yuri teleports to the tower. They know that if something were to happen here, they would have numbers, and that they did. No Puma to be seen. No teamfight assistance from Biopanther with a teleport either. It is just the outer turret that's taken in bottom lane. And the question is left to be asked of why have that fight in the first place? Why go in if you're Kevi? Just accept that Kisse has been caught perhaps out of position, but it ends up being way too many kills, and that's not an equal transaction.
Put themselves in a pretty happy spot, you'd have to say now. PGG up by 4k gold, found a fight that really should not have happened. And this is what you mentioned before, Corporal is very squishy. 3 levels down on Balkan, getting run down also with the red buff too, but These carries are getting scarier and scarier by the minute, and yes, you're putting a lot of pressure into this Aphelios. He is 1 and 2, but I just keep looking at this Rise.
God, this Rise is going to be almost impossible to deal with right now. The damage output's going to be huge, and I think we can say that Order have found Praedyth pretty successfully in that last fight, right? They have killed the Aphelios. They stopped the Aphelios through the combo. But just like we highlighted after that point, we might have to hold that if Kevy's not careful. It'll be alright. But beyond the Aphelios, there is a Rumble, there is a Rise. There is very limited magic resistance being built on the Order camp. And PGG, the side Baron is theirs.
That's an at-spawn Baron. 20 minutes on the clock, we're going in. We've got time, we've got vision, we've got places to be.
That's so fast.
And that's not you being here. Baron's gone, just like that. Out in 10 seconds, Order is stunned. But here they come. They are going to try and make some form of attempt. In goes the quickness, locks in place Yuri, trying to get that bounty. Down goes the equalizer, goes golden for a minute. Balcon soaking up the Voldemort, falls on down, gets shut down. That's one Baron gone. Now on towards another kill. Yuri locked in place for the move, for he tries to flash from 4, but Kevy dies. Does not matter, he picks up one, but it still looks to be a net even positive trade here for PGG. Kisei jumps in! It's not enough, but they have taken down Praedyth again. They found literally everybody but Rogue. And that's a Baron that looks good in principle, but it's going to reap them little to no benefit now.
And that's the ace secured. All 5 members of Pentanet.gg fall on their own sword. If the sword's name was Yuri Skimmy, their mid laner, with an egregious pathing error, chooses not to go with the team, decides that he wants to snack on some honey fruit, and everyone stops to help him and gets punished. That is just unacceptable from PGG's side, but Order with the pickup, right? They get a sniff, they see the opportunity presented, they do not hesitate, they make the play happen. And without that fight, without 5 members going down from PGG, this game could have been insurmountable. That was exactly what Order needed.
Sure, he's hating himself right now because the Realm Warp could have been used to disengage everybody to safety, and they would continue to be in a point of power. Fantastic isolation found there by Order to punish convincingly. They're going to summon the Herald at the very last minute. That's in mid. Mid turret is going to fall on down, but that's not going to deter PGG. They are here for the 4th Drake of the game. That's guaranteed. No fight. Wait for the soul.
It's just going to be mid priority. Kevy could get engaged on. Rumble's going to lay down the carpet, Skimmy, but I don't think there's going to be a fight. It's just going to be Herald charges secured.
Here we go, though. That's a 2-man moonfall. Everybody going golden right now. Locked in place. Wildgrave's sort of being burnt. Praedyth, he's on a blast gun. He wants to ditch away. Rogue is being left, but it actually doesn't really matter. There's the polymorph to try and run one down. You can't do all on your own, so back to mid lane they go. Now they are doing the run down. They are finding the kicks and the kills and everything in between. They've taken down 2, and they've just managed to hold on to their 2nd turret in mid.
And teams are just taking fights that realistically aren't necessary. And as a result, there's just a little bit of limit testing going on here. Belkan going to tank 2 turret shots to ensure the wave crashes. They'll push in, and they'll break the outer and inner turret in mid lane, and PGG back in the driver's seat. Right? They push them away from the Drake, that's fine. Order plays for the Herald in mid lane, you get a charge off, you're happy with that. There's no necessity to all-in fight for that 2nd charge. And they get punished, right? Maybe no Rumble red carpet, maybe no Band-Aid to place down, they think to themselves it's an angle. But I don't know if a Diana hitting 2 people is going to be enough. There's a tanky Rise, keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, Blue Rise brings me all the way back to the old days of Blue Israel as well. More of those coming on through. Frozen Heart to be picked up next, and certainly looks aesthetically pleasing. But allows you to put out all this pain and punishment without falling on down. Let's run it back here, because it almost feels like both these teams are skill checking one another with their skirmishing.
Yeah, Kevy's going to have a look here. So no W even ready, I don't think. Flash E engages ult. It was Winterer and Yuri that he found. So again, in theory, you're like, I've got 2 carries here. One has a stopwatch. They've got a Lulu ultimate. Winterer's just going to get himself out there pretty easily, honestly, because the follow-up doesn't exist. It wasn't a choke point at the point that he went in as well. It was close to the choke point, but just a little bit off. And so it was a messy play from PGG that's followed up by a fairly messy affair from Order. Only 4,000 gold between these teams, but PGG, you would say, is in a commanding position.
Yeah, they've bounced back to that 5k lead. I'm glad we got the total gold here, because I was actually quite curious to see where Puma is at right now in this game. Not as far ahead as I imagine he would be compared to Praedyth. He is still deathless, the only one in the game to remain so. I'm sure he's got a fair few souls to his name as well. So going to be packing a punch with the 3 items complete. A lot of range.
Absolutely. If anyone's going to carry this game out, it has to be Puma for sure. You've got a bunch of people to stand in front of you. The longer the game goes, the more range that you get. Definitely has enough damage in the build as well. It only gets scarier from here on out.
Ooh,
as long as you can deal with the flanks.
That's fantastic. They lock in place Balkan, the root onto 2, they bring them together! It's just too easy! It is far too easy. Balkan gonna give them a parting gift. There's the Cataclysm Kisei. You can't walk away, but you've done your job.
Yeah, and look, that's a great pick from Order. If you really take stock of why that pick was to happen in the first place, you've got Praetor's farming mid-wave, and the waves weren't close to crashing. So to go to clear vision at that point from both Rogue and Balkan, namely Balkan, who was the one that got caught initially.
Oh no.
Got a lot to answer for.
Praetor. Giving us a mini heart attack.
Blue Trinket was used as well there at the very least. He was vigilant on that one. Geez, Skimmy, neither team really using the leads they have wisely yet. The one big condition still existing though, you've got an Infernal Soul in 1 minute flat. We'll be looking at that as like the place where no one can really make a mistake because you're all definitely looking at the exact same thing. So now we can have a look at how they set up for it. Because Baron's going to be up in 10 first. We know that both teams could do this fairly quickly as well, but it is a Soul.
Especially with what weapons Defilios is rocking at the moment. Would not be surprised if they were to utilize the Realm Warp as they get in and get a jail free card. Try and sneak that one away from Order once again, but their positioning so far is going to be much to the deterrence of that idea. And you just find ourselves in a similar situation again, where everybody comes together to say hello to the Drake.
The question is, where do they prioritize, right? You can see a lot of Order's vision is going to be placed around the Baron itself. A couple of deep wards in the blue side quadrant of PGG's jungle to see if they make their way towards the Drake, but the game's basically going to be played in the dead center of the map right now. Mid-wave into objectives. Bio's found Yuri.
Yuri's flashed away at the last minute. Infernal Chains will expire. Now putting the damage onto Corporal. He's gone. He is just deleted. That's a big part of their engage. Now comes in Balkan to show you how you really do engage. He locks in place 1. He flashed onto Puma. He's going to take down the center 1v1. That's a shutdown found. PGG are doing it. It's a level kill here. Found by Yuri, a Realm Warp to guarantee that there is no place to run or hide. They got ace, but this time they will ace.
And the Rakan pick just proves to be a little bit too brittle here, Skimmy. It's so easy to take down. The engage attempt, it was a simple flash from the Rise. The follow-up from the rest of the squad is going to be there. PGG, they'll get the team fight victory straight in the gut, straight in mid lane, and they will run straight down that lane and look to end it right now.
Still got a wave, as you say. Corporal going to be the only one here. Needs to buy 10 seconds. He's just dead again. Welcome back to the grey screen, as Order will be taken down at the 28-minute mark. Team fight galore, but it's all things Pentanet.
Not even an Infernal Soul needed here. Rogue may be needing some pants. But we'll see what they're up to.
I've got the multiple angles.
Because you never know, do you, with this
What are we
squad?
cooking today, boys? Celebration pancakes. We've got the eggs out. Oh!
What are we...
Are we eating thin air? Or was it just that easy?
Trying to work it out. Honestly, I'm a bit lost. what do...
They're cooking up some gains. They're cooking up some wins, and maybe they're saying that that was a bit of a feed. Who knows? There may just be levels to these memes that we need clarification from.
They just feasted on Order. I mean, it was a couple of pretty shaky engages from them, I won't lie.
Yeah. So,
and it was, you know what? It was rough across the board, Skimmy. Both teams were very imperfect in a lot of ways. There were still some crazy good moments from them, though, and I think PGG just a little bit too clean.
A little bit too clean in the end. Mac, what did you make of game number 2 there?
It was interesting. There was a lot of limit testing going on. There was a lot of fun, and maybe a start that no one really expected. And PGG, they just managed to keep that gold lead going. They managed to know exactly what to do, when to turn the things around. And there was at least 2 specific team fights which definitely turned the tides and won in the game, and that was as things got later on. But also, you know, they were getting caught out as well. You know, that catch out onto Balkan, and I think it was Winterer down on the red side there, on the bot side. That was interesting, but also great reaction from Order. So, you know, lots of things that were done well, lots of things that were not done well at all for both sides. There was a lot of action, a lot of fun. And I need to just point out something right towards the end. Kisei, again, look, in that early interview, he was blaming his teammates. He went 0-4 at the end of the game, and he was also slightly out to the side. It looked like he was maybe trying to find a flank angle, but as soon as Yuri hit the go button, as soon as PGG turned that last fight around, that was game, set, and match. And who was last alive, who was unable to help their teammates, that was Kisei. So, I don't know, man. He's calling people out, and I feel like it's time to call him out too, because he just doesn't seem to be in the right position. You can see he's trying to save Puma here, but then the rest of the boys are dying on the front line. What's Kisei doing? He's just trying to survive, and he's dead, and that was the game. So, Corporal, as you mentioned, he had done a few things as well. He was just that little bit too brittle on the Rakan. Maybe we needed to see some more enchanters coming through, because they seem to be just so damn strong with everything going on. And the thing that scared me off the bat from Champ Select is that Aphelios went to Praetor, and I was like, oh damn, this is going to be scary. That being said, he didn't have too amazing of a game, but when you give it to him, Pentinep, they just seem to win, Rusty.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is one of his most comfortable champions. I'm not surprised that you would expect big things seeing him lock this one in, but the fact that they're able to get that massive victory with him being hard focused and definitely struggling to get on the map is a massive positive for them. Honestly, Balkan on Java just knows how to push his limits incredibly well. A couple of times that weren't fight-based, that he would go a little bit too far. And there was definitely a few moments there where PGG, I think the biggest issue they have is setting up. Once they're set up, they're terrifying. But yes, that setup was something that left a little bit to be desired, where Order were able to pick them off nicely. Order's comp, though, I see what the Rakan does. I see how the Rakan can be super aggressive with the rest of them, but that last fight's a pretty key example that the center's not safe. And no matter how much range that center has, Jarvan exists, the center is not safe.
Yep. It's one of those things as well where, you know, even if the team comp's good, if you're just that little bit fragile, if you don't have a whole lot of frontline going on, then it's just scary. It's scary. Center had the range, Center had the damage, but then as soon as Center finally died one time, the game literally ended. So, I don't know. Puma played out of his mind again. I feel like he's playing very, very well for Order, and it's just a little bit rough. Something else that was rough was that nothing was actually pulled out of the pan there in the celebratory player cam. So I thought that they had gone the extra mile. They'd cut out like a paper W or something,
yes,
and I thought they were going to pull it out, and then
That's
he
what I
just
was
pulled out
waiting
nothing,
for.
and I was like, oh.
We saw nothing.
So, you know, there is something that PGG can work on, and yes, they have some great celebrations in the player cams, but I'm asking for more because I love it, and I want you all to be perfect in-game and out-of-game, and I know that this is something that Winterer, I'm looking at you, you're the man to make it happen. Now, that game, I feel like, you know, Skimmy, I need to say a little congratulations because I believe you're now out in the lead with the predictions, aren't you?
Perhaps, yeah, because everybody else went Order, yeah. I mean, what a game! Like I said, it was pretty much my point, right? The reason I like this team is because they're aggressive and they pretty much delivered on all those fronts. The one moment that Yuri, I'm sure, will be hating himself for was the fact that they didn't use the Realm Warp again to try and disengage away from the Baron and guarantee that the Baron call, which was good, was theirs to get aced, and it looked a little bit crazy for a second. But at the very end, that final play where it looks like they've got a catch on him, where they're split apart, instantly, as soon as the Infernal Chains expires, he flashes away, baits in Corporal, turns around, gives him a knockout headache, and they just run away with it. So, I mean, I feel like these teams are still very, very close together, but PGG just inching out a little bit more to their style.
And look, we have to give it to Winterer. Man is the player of the game, not only in the player cams, but in the bloody Rift as well, doing so much work there in the top lane, rotating when it was necessary, and he was always involved in those team fights, Rusty.
Yeah, I mean, Winterer had a pretty solid game for himself, right? It's hard to fault what he did. There was no single moment for me that was like, that's nuts. Like, Winterer is a beast, but you can't fault the way that he played overall. Just did his job very effectively as a top laner, played around, and of course translated for the mid laner in the jungle of the team as they got it done. I don't think there was any one particular player that I saw in that entire game that was like, freak MVP performance. They were just solid as a 5.
Yeah, it was a really hard one to pick. It felt like it Might have got a little bit messy at times, but PGG, they got there in the end. And fortunately for us, we get to have a chat with them. Kitty in particular, so let's bring her back into the conversation. Kitty, quickly, tell me what you thought about that game and tell me who you have for the interview.
Well, obviously, Skimmy is now first for the predictions because I went with Order, so I'm a bit angry. But someone who's happier than me is Pradith, and we've grabbed him for the interview for tonight. Hello, Pradith. It's nice to see PGG picking up another win. So I noticed from draft that you guys defaulted to Comfort because you guys picked Aphelios Lulu bot lane with the Rumble in the top side, and Jarvan, which we saw Balkan have a very good game on from last week. Would you say Angry Gaming is the way to go from PGG?
I don't know if many of these picks were pre-planned. I think bot lane was pre-planned. I Aphelios lose like my comfort, right? You know, like that's just like me. And then after that, like I heard champ names and we just locked them in. You know what I mean? So, I guess it's just comfort. Yeah, I guess it like made everyone perform really well. So that's cool.
I'm curious. So let's say that you guys are first picking Jarvan for Balkan, and let's say a Korean picked it for them. Do they say the champion names in Korean so you guys don't understand what champion they're picking?
I think it's like I don't actually know, so this could be just completely false information, but I'm pretty sure it's the same. Like it's the same champion names because they're names. So like they understand all the names. Like they pronounce them differently because I don't know why, but they pronounce them a little bit differently. But like Rise is like Raizu, like Zoe's Joey. Like it's like we all just I don't know. Like yeah, we just understand it.
So you guys can figure it out. Well, talking about Balkan, what was his main goal in the game? Because I know that he is the main shot caller for the team. And what was your role during the team fights like?
I think Balkan's main goal this game was to go to the toilet because he always before Champions Select, he's always like, "Can I go toilet?" And then there's a message saying like, "Last call to go to toilet. You can't go to toilet after this." And then it's like 10 minutes after. So I think that was his main goal. I think this game, I don't actually really know. Draft, as I said, I'm not sure if we've ever played a draft like this, so I'm not sure what the goal was. I know that I was like left weak side a bit, which is fine because I could take all the camps, and so I think he just wanted to snowball our mid, and that worked really well. I think you saw how like good Yuri played this game. It was really insane, and same as like Winterer. I'm really glad like Winterer got to play one of his like champions and like actually carry a game. Felt really good. You can get some like confidence and stuff. For me, I'm just like I don't think it actually mattered much what I did. I built a Kraken Slayer. I'm pretty sure I was like actually trolling, and like it just didn't matter. So it's good to like actually just lay back and get carried one game.
Well, speaking about Balkan going to the toilet, we saw Winterer and Rogue cooking up something after the game. Can you explain to us what that was about?
I normally don't look over that side of the room after the games. I don't really want to see what's going on over there, so you have to figure it out yourself.
Well, let's just say it's a feed for the boys because you guys wrapped day one with a win for PGG. Thanks again, Pradith, for your interview. It's always nice to have you here, and have a good night's sleep for tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'm taking bets on when he woke up.
Is he actually awake now? I'm
He was
convinced
talking.
he's still sleep talking. I'm convinced that he doesn't even know what he's doing. The comp does something. That's good.
That's so good.
I picked Comfort. I guess they picked Comfort. Don't know how they won, but Yuri's good. All right.
Yeah, I also don't turn my head and look at what my teammates do after a W. So poor form. Something else that's poor form is if you're not following the Twitch yet. So make sure you smack that follow button, and I'm going to check in with you after the break to make sure you did. If you didn't, I'm going to smack you right on the shoulder and say, look, I'm sorry. Anyway, we've got a third game to get to. It's Chiefs and Peace, and that's coming up just after the break.
lane. Travis, meanwhile, he wants to pick up a blue buff. Forget the team fight. I'm playing a completely different game. It's solo player, and Balkan is still saying, where is my team? He's got the Gorge trigger. He's now got the backup. The reinforcements are here. Yuri's flashed away at the last minute. Infernal Chains will expire. Now putting the damage onto Corporal. He's gone. He is just deleted. That's a big part of their engage. Now comes in Balkan to show you how you really do engage. He locks in place one.